Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the avgeeks lunchtime streaming show. And we have some special guests with us today. I'm doing this through Zoom, so everything looks a little weird. But this is probably the best way that we can all talk and share. And let me go ahead and introduce Joe and Nick from the Found Footage Festival. They are kind of the video versions of what I do on 16 millimeter. And here they come.
Hi, Skip.
Hey. Now I have to do a little bit of finagling here to get it to where we all can see each other.
Finagle away,
Oh,
Skip.
yeah. Go from view to gallery, maybe?
We've only been doing this for...
That way...
Yeah.
We'll all figure out Zoom together.
Yes.
Yeah. What is this program now?
And I don't normally use Zoom, but this is the way to do it. So there you go.
The future's arrived. The future's here.
So, Joe, you are... Behind you is a giant shelving unit of videotape.
Yeah, I'm in the office right now in Gowanus, Brooklyn. We have, I don't know, we counted about a year ago about 11,000 videos. And I'm in the process of restructuring everything. And I'm going to do a recount. But I think around 11,000 VHS tapes. This is a fire hazard here. This could collapse on me at any moment. You know how it is. I've been to your place. Your place is even worse, actually. Your stuff is heavy and smells funny.
Yes, and it would definitely crush me if it fell. So...
Oh,
Did you guys build those shelves?
We hired our buddy Justin, came in and built them for us. So yeah, I also have a couple festive balloons behind me too. I don't know if you can see those.
Whenever I feel bad about having to store 11,000 VHS tapes, I think of you, Skip, and I think of the boarding house you had to buy to store all your tapes, and how the floorboards were buckling, and
yes,
just how much of an ordeal that must be.
Have you ever taken your audience on a tour through your, just put it on your phone and then just walk through it? Oh, you have?
Yeah,
okay.
I've done it. I have it on a video that I used to start my shows with, and at some point I'll do it again. My assistant is working there now, so that's why we're socially distancing, so he can continue to work. But yeah, I could go there after hours and kind of do an update. Because
that was so fun when we went to your place and we just could go up on the shelf and just be like, all right, we want to watch this one. Yes. We want to watch, and we went straight to Sudden Birth every time, but
yes. Yeah, you guys were drawn to those titles. And what's interesting is so with you guys, you do, when you were touring, you were doing a lot of active thrifting. So you were constantly looking for things. And you VHS cases have covers, and sometimes you just buy it based on the cover, correct?
Always based on the cover. Yeah, I mean, but now we don't have that anymore. And plus we've noticed that thrift stores, they're drying up with they don't have VHS anymore. And if they do, it's like Titanic or something,
But yeah, that's another thing I sort of feel for you, Skip, because when we were looking through all your old film canisters, there's just a piece of masking tape that says Sudden Birth on it, and that catches your eye.
Yes.
But if they're not labeled, I guess you have to spool them all up and watch them and figure out what's on them. We at least have, unless it's the case of an unmarked VHS tape, which we don't usually even bother with.
Right.
We know, we have some idea of what's on our tapes.
Right. I mean, there is a bunion surgery, which you were drawn to, obviously.
That was our version of masking tape with Sudden Birth. Bunion surgery spelled wrong, handwritten. Both bunion and surgery are spelled incorrectly.
I have the copy around
here
somewhere. Yeah. It's on our Hall of Fame shelf over here. So
nice.
Yeah.
And we have toured together. We have done little mini tours of, I think we did the DC metro area, mid-Atlantic, and then we did Texas, which was a glorious, hilarious thing. And only because we set it up as a competition. We were trying, it was Found Magazine versus Found Footage versus AV Geeks.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we're the big three, right? In this genre, right? Like that's an all-star team right there.
Yes. And so I had to put my head around. I didn't know what you were going to show, but I had to kind of come up with an idea of like, all right, I think I know what they're going to show. And so this is a general warning about today's show.
Yeah.
Which is we will go into some territories which might not be suitable for children.
I'm just gonna say this: it's never pornographic. It's
No.
never like we don't have anything. Yeah,
I know what you're showing. Don't try to soft pedal this. This is,
it's natural.
don't watch
it's
this
nature.
with your kids. It's lunch. It's lunchtime.
It's nature is what this is. This is 100%
All right.
nature.
So I think most people, when I mentioned that you were going to be on the show, they already knew what to expect. They already knew who you are, and they made requests, mostly profanity-laden stuff. But
Sure. Oh, we got some of that too.
Yeah. Good times. And the way I think we should do it is I asked you guys, like, was there a film or something that you saw when you were in school that affected you, that you remember that I might potentially have? And it turns out both of you picked things that I didn't have. But with Nick, you did actually find something on YouTube that I'm going to show. It's a film strip. And then Joe, thematically, I picked something that was similar to what you requested.
Awesome. Yeah, my thing was pretty vague. It's just like this memory I have. I don't remember a title. I just remember one scene that happened in it, and I tried to, But
which a lot of people, that's what it is.
And the film strip I was talking about was I didn't watch it on YouTube. I just saw it was on YouTube, so I haven't seen it since I was in kindergarten.
Right.
But what I remember about it is watching it in class and thinking that the rhyme scheme of the main thing of it was a little off. Yes. You know, my dad was a poetry teacher, so I was very, I think, aware at a young age of like meter that didn't match or a rhyme that was kind of a reach. And what I remember is an anti stranger video. You know, I think especially in the 70s and 80s, strangers were the big boogeyman that everyone was worried about. So. Yes. It was called Patch the Pony, and I remember he says, "Nay, nay, from strangers stay away," which is kind of a Yoda. You know, you kind of have to do some syntax things to make that rhyme work. And so I kind of remember like almost making fun of it in kindergarten. And then years later, when eBay came out, I ordered a copy of the film strip, so I have it in my storage locker here in Queens. It's you know, a big red thing, and it has Patch the Pony on it, but I couldn't justify buying a slide projector. You know, I just thought for that, I'll just have to look at the slides. So the fact that I found it on YouTube and that we're going to show it today, I'm very excited to see this again.
And how does it go again? Yay, nay, nay.
Nay, nay, from strangers stay away.
Okay, it sounds like they went with their first idea.
Yes. And it's also a pony with an eye patch, which makes you wonder like how I think if I'm remembering correctly, that's why it's called Patch the Pony. Maybe not. Maybe his name's just Patch. But if in my memory, I've somehow imagined that it's a pony with an eye patch. Which how did he lose the eye?
But also patches. That's something that strangers wear. Eye patches. Yeah. That's what a classic. So is Patch the Pony the stranger, or he's helping the kids?
Wow.
I don't know. I'm excited to find out.
There's a lot of good questions.
Oh, boy.
And so what I figured that we would do is you guys, when you do your shows, you're more short form with your clips. You pull out the nuggets. Yeah. I tend to let things go long form. So what I figured we should do is let you guys show your short form stuff. Then we'll get into the meat of Patch and the film that I pulled for Joe.
Okay, great.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
To start?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to start off with mine? Let's ease in with Nick's.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. I didn't know if you had more than one, so I was letting you go first. But I had a few honorable mentions. We just recently wrapped up our sort of year in review show on our weekly YouTube and Facebook show, VCR Party. And we were counting down what we thought were the best. We each picked our best 3 videos, and we picked our number 1 video of the year. It turned out to be a a video souvenir of a 1990 Cabbage Patch convention that stole our hearts.
Very
But
homemade.
we had honorable mentions that we really didn't get to show off that much. So we thought maybe now's the time to show off some of our honorable mentions. And maybe to ease into it, I could start with a video called, it says host disabled screen sharing again. Oh, maybe it's because I dropped off. So if you can make me a co-host again, I'll explain what this is. We found a lot of videos for some reason, like I'm sure you have sections in your house there, Skip, that show like different categories of the films. We have gotten so specific in them that we have one just big, a label on the shelf that says napkins. And you would not believe how many instructional videos there are about how to fold goddamn napkins and how to do fun stuff with them for place settings. And they're all funny. They're all funny because they have names like the bishop's hat. And, and this one, the cover made me laugh because it was called Impressive 1-Minute Napkins. Impressive 1-Minute napkins. So here's a little bit of that.
All right, let me just say, it's gonna look like I'm storming off in a huff, but I'm just checking to make sure that everything technically is running okay.
Okay. All right. Don't storm off at a huff. These napkins are impressive. Hang on a second.
Lagging a little bit.
Little glitchy. Okay, here we go.
I think we're starting out with some flying windows here.
We are.
Look at those flying windows.
And flying napkins.
Flying. I've been impressed so far.
Yep. Chef Ted.
Well, he included the VHS.
Hi, I'm
cover
Chef
of the
Ted.
video.
Actually, I'm not a real chef, but my friends call me Chef Ted whenever I do the things I'm about to show you on this tape.
So he's called Chef Ted, but he's not a chef. That's just the first thing he says is, all my friends call me Chef Ted, but I'm not a chef.
Hi, I'm Chef Ted. Actually, I'm not a real chef, but my friends call me Chef Ted whenever I do the things I'm about to show you on this tape.
But you're not
change
making
your
food.
name.
You're not making food either.
Change your name to like napkin folder, Ted.
I said change your friends. He'll come up with better nicknames.
Skip, you didn't start off going off in a huff, but now did you? Is that?
Yeah, I was curious.
Okay.
And that's a very impressive, extremely simple napkin fold. The envelope, please. We're going to make a little envelope out of your napkin. Here's a cute little envelope. It's a nice way to send the message to your guests that they're special. Talk about adding a touch of class to any meal. Kind of gives new meaning to dressing up your table, doesn't it? Here's one you may want to use next time the preacher comes over. It's called the bishop's hat. This time, pay close attention to the flaps. Boots were made for walking, but this one's going to have your neighbors a-talking. And there you have the artichoke. Now that's a vegetable that doesn't have to be in season to enjoy. Let's do something a little
Can you
fun.
pause?
We're going to make...
Yeah.
Who sits in that chair in the corner there? Is that a chair for somebody just to like sit? Like why is that? What's that? What's the purpose of that chair in the corner there?
It's a good question. I keep expecting like a little ghost girl to like pop up in one shot, but just for a second, you
Like
know, and then when you cut back to it, she's not there.
The 3 Men and a Baby ghost. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's for
Like,
the okay. All right.
The girl from The
Now
Ring.
that's a vegetable that doesn't have to be in season to enjoy. Let's do something a little fun. We're going to make the baby. And there's the baby. This little fellow will really be the hit of your next baby shower. Isn't that fantastic? Well, friends, that's about it. Just remember, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Now, go out there and knock your guest socks off.
I just want to point out, he's dressed like a chef. He's got the chef hat, the chef thing, and then he is embroidered. It says Chef Ted, but he's not a chef. He's living a lie.
Well, his friends are calling him that. I don't think they are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know he might have. Even if your friends are calling you something, you don't get it. Like if somebody called me Dr. Nick, I'm not going to wear a surgeon outfit and get it embroidered.
And you're going to tell them to stop calling you that, right?
Yeah, I'll be like, look, I'm not a doctor. Leave me alone.
Can I ask you guys a serious question? If you guys had a child and it looked like the baby napkin, would you raise it just like any other child and like love it and everything? If you guys had that child,
Yes.
that baby that came out, that looked exactly like that napkin.
It's like a racer head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd give it up for adoption. Find a good family of adult napkins to raise it.
All right. So this video was sent to us by I don't know if I want to dive. How many videos are we going to show, Skip? Because this would be a good one to end on.
It depends on how long you guys want to run this.
Let me play this one. This was on my honorable mention. Somebody sent us this video by the Kelly family. Have you heard of the Kelly family?
Only through your show.
Okay, yeah, they were big in Europe. They were this Irish family, 9 siblings, mom and dad. Sometimes the mom would perform with a baby in her arms. They were really popular in Germany. They traveled around Europe in the 70s. They had a double-decker bus. They traveled in a houseboat. They were just like this rambling family. And somebody sent us this video.
It's like an Irish Van Trapp family.
Yes, and they dress like that too. Ooh. And they all have long hair, like even the boys, like all of them have long hair. And this one is a song that they performed, and they would perform for, not stadiums, but like big rooms. And so this one is about bedwetting. This is a song they did about bedwetting, and it's actually a toe tapper. It's called Pee Pee.
Angelo, are you gonna be my
needs to work on his mic control.
What'd you say, Nick?
I was just saying the lady was thinking, how many Deutsch? I was thinking the lady was saying, how many Deutschmarks did I pay to get in here?
I think you guys get the point.
There's a reason we do short forms.
I think we got enough there, and it goes on like that.
So from my standpoint, I would love to know, because if you grow up in a family, you have these little funny songs that you do about, like, it's my turn to wash the dishes.
Right.
I'm wondering, is that just what they do? Is they there's a household chore, they have a funny little song about it, and then, all right, we're going to perform it. We're going to back them up. And
that's exactly
I sing songs to my dog, but I would never think to involve my family and then make people pay money to come see them. Although now that I say it out loud, not a terrible idea.
I mean, if you had a couple baby napkins running around there, you might make up songs about them.
Teach them to sing, let them grow their hair out. I mean, yeah, I think we got a license to print money right there. Skip, do you have any bedwetting videos or films?
I don't think I do.
I was wondering if that was a problem that people addressed in hygiene films, or if that was more of a...
Well, so what's interesting is, I think that I have some films that address it on a parental level, but not on a, for kids. And the reason why is because educational films were shown in schools. Right. You have the advantage of a video somebody would buy or rent the video and watch it in the privacy of their own home. Whereas a 16 millimeter film, you would sell to a school system, and then they would show it to a room full of people. So the idea that you would show a film about bedwetting to a bunch of kindergartners is probably not going to work.
Oh yeah, that's going to be like an 80% snickering in there, right? There's going to be a lot of snickering. But I wonder how people address bedwetting now, because it probably hasn't gone. It's probably still a problem. I wonder. A lot of stuff came out in the 80s and 90s that we have on a shelf over there, bedwetting, and I wonder if it was effective. I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I don't know. I don't know about these things.
So right around the time that I was starting collecting 16 millimeter film, of course, I had the videotape. It's Potty Time.
Oh yeah,
which is
classic.
Phenomenal. Really quite an amazing video that we would show all the time at parties. And that's how I kind of got started, is we would show these videos and we did a lot of tape trading. Then when I started collecting 16, then I would show the 16 at parties, and that's how I got to where I am. But yeah,
our paths just diverged. We started the same way, just finding VHS tapes in high school and then having friends over to watch them, developed a running commentary of jokes, and then just never stopped doing it. We just kept finding more and more VHS tapes as DVDs became the format of choice. So just paths diverged and different specialties. Hey,
Skip, I queued up Super Duper Pooper if you want to play it right now.
Oh, I love that.
Just talking about it. You want to hear just a little bit of it?
Yeah, let's do it. It's in my head, and it is certainly something that I have sung, not to my own children. I don't have children, but to children who are in my life.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Here's a Super Duper Pooper. So this is the potty training video, and this is a song that they would sing It was all song and dance. It was like for kids of that age.
And
so,
this was
just
shot in North Carolina, and it was made by Duke University.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we were gonna have the guy who played the beret guy come to our show, but he chickened out at the last minute.
Oh,
He was gonna. Yeah, we were in
Penders?
contact with him.
Mr.
Oh.
Penders, yeah.
Penders, right.
Yep.
Mr. Penders.
But
yeah.
he did
love it.
text us and wished us well.
Let's just say he's a close personal friend, Nick. Let's go with that.
Okay.
All right, here's super.
So I just want to recap. So far, it's napkins, pee, and poop. So just to recap the subject matter so far.
We're ramping up.
He is a super duper pooper.
She can potty with the best. No more diapers to get in her way. We are very impressed.
She is a super duper pooper.
She knows when she has to go. Take a bow, she's a big girl now. She's the best pooper we know.
There's that too. So, what song, as you guys are... Oh, wait a second. Sorry. It started again. Tonight, when you guys are drifting off to sleep, what song do you think you'll have in your head? I Ain't Gonna Pee Pee My Bed Tonight or Super Duper Pooper?
I think Super Duper Pooper is in my DNA at this point, and so it's a fallback. It's an easy fallback.
Yeah.
The other one is the Ta Ra Ra Boom Die. I pull my pants away, and while I'm standing here, pull down my underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in that video?
Oh yeah, and that comes up a lot when I'm peeing.
Oh, so you like the deep cuts, huh?
Oh man,
you like this mainstream stuff.
I get pee pee my bed in my head a lot. But I'm going to present an alternative. This is a video that we didn't even play on our recap show for 2020. It's highlights from a public access show from Erie that celebrated hard rock and heavy metal in the 80s. It was called Erie Rocks. And our buddy in England actually told me about this show. So here's some highlights from Erie Rocks. This song might be in my head. Oh yeah, you can see the P.O. box there.
I wonder if it's still active.
Let's write him a letter. All right, hang on. It's playing slow. Okay.
Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Look out the window, find a better place to go, but inside you really know what's hard and what's not.
I want that shirt.
Hot rock.
No time for reason to run. It's your life, your plan.
For some reason, this reminds me of a Ben Stiller character. Like in the Ben Stiller sketch show.
Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Look up in the eyes, people don't hide for your fears and peace of mind. You like mine, stand so fine. Our comes tonight. Coming to the office, speak to a mother. No, there's no matter. Time on the road, end of the show. Come on, boys, let's go! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! It's not time! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks! Erie rocks!
Erie Rocks.
Oh man, that guy's shirt collection was incredible. Did you see his shirt?
The Baltimore one? I mean, they're all amazing. Yeah.
He had one that just said hot rock. Hot rock.
We should sell that in our online store.
I wrote it down.
I would wear that.
I made a note of it, Nick. Yeah, one step ahead of you. Also, has anybody ever said Erie Rocks? Like, is it really known as like a rock and roll town? I was doing some Google searches during that to see if there's any like bands that came out of it. I don't really.
It doesn't matter. That's not what public access is about, man. It's
That's
just
true.
One person who's like, you know what, Erie rocks, and then
it's
and it's declared.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Public access shows can create a scene all on their own. So
What?
I think that's what they're attempting to do.
Nick, was that pre Wayne's World?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. It was like I would say 1985. I think most of those clips came from.
Okay.
But they ran the show for 10 years as two brothers,
Wow.
and a lot of like regional metal bands played through there that I'd never heard of any of the bands before.
They should have gotten royalties from Wayne's World, because I feel like Wayne's World was just lifting that, was just taking. Yeah. All right, I'm going to play one more. What do you think? One more? You want to end on this one? This is nature, right? This is nature, so it's okay.
Here's your rationalization about what I'm going to show you.
Okay, so this is this guy sent it to us. It's news bloopers. News bloopers is my favorite genre of all time. Like, I go on YouTube and I watch the 30-minute string outs of news bloopers. But this one is an exclusive. This guy worked at a news station in the 90s in Texas, and he sent this raw footage that he and his buddies had always enjoyed watching. So I'd say what she's talking about is mildly disturbing, but it's a news segment, so it's not terrible. But and then just watch the whole screen. I'll just say that. All right, here is we call
the
it
devil's in the details sometimes.
We call it Lucky the Horse. Well, he called it Lucky the Horse.
Testing.
I think this news anchor was just kind of running and gunning it, setting up on a tripod, recording it herself, and then like she was going to go back and edit it, and so she's kind of doing the countdown, trying to get it right, doing as many takes as it takes.
Yep,
so she has no idea what she's videotaping. She has a sense.
No.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a director there. Yeah, she set up the camera herself, so she can't see what's going on behind her.
Maybe she has the small viewfinder.
1. Out of the 11 animals rescued, probably the most bizarre injury is that of a horse's... 3, 2, 1. Out of the 11 animals rescued, probably the most bizarre is that of a hole in a horse's neck the size of a fist. That horse is right here. That horse. 3, 2, 1. Out of the 11 animals injured, probably the most bizarre wound is that of a hole in a horse's neck the size of a fist.
Now you're not running away in horror?
Veterinarians still don't know
Isn't
what
nature
caused
beautiful?
the wound. It could have been from a gunshot or 3, 2.
Snuff videos are technically
Out of the 11
nature, too.
animals
I don't know that
rescued, probably the most bizarre wound is that of a hole in a horse's neck the size of a fist. Veterinarians still don't know what caused that wound, but the horse is here at the SPCA clinic, where workers have affectionately called him Lucky. 3, 2, 1. On scene at SPCA headquarters, Annie Blanco, News 24 Houston. 3, 2, 1.
There you go. There's Lucky the horse.
Lucky. I hope everyone's enjoying their lunch.
The size of a
I mean, it's
size
just
of a fist, and then
it's so layered like that, because you got the dong swing in the back, and then you also have her talking about the hole the size of a fist in the neck.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a sublime clip, Joe. I think it's a very sublime clip. It's good. Slow burn.
It was number 3 of my top 3. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Been a good year. It was a good year for us last year, video-wise.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of good stuff. So
not financially or in any other aspect, but video-wise, pretty good.
But I felt like that would tie in nicely with Patch the Pony, if we want to.
Yes. Okay. So now we're going to shift things up a little bit and show Patch. This is something that Nick saw as a child. How old were you? Do you think?
Kindergarten, and I remember sitting down and watching this as a film strip, and like I said, the rhyme scheme seemed clunky to me. Nay, nay, Patch the Pony says, "From strangers stay away." Like it doesn't roll off the tongue, and you need something. You need to keep it simple for kindergartners,
right?
And it didn't work. I still just, would definitely come up to any stranger, and I liked candy, so it didn't work at all.
Yeah, sometimes the abstraction of it's involving horses. Like the analogy is lost on things, and that's what I delight in, is the films that I have where somebody's going for something like a metaphor, and it just doesn't work. It's just like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make really any sense. All right, so this is it's the resolution's not great on it, but it's okay. And so we'll let this run, and you guys can comment as you do. Normally, I don't comment during my films, but you guys should.
If I absolutely have to say something, I'll speak.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I'm excited. Yeah.
You don't see his erection in this, do you? You don't see Patch's erection in this, do you?
I watched only the first couple of minutes of it, so we could go anywhere. And also, if Nick starts sobbing uncontrollably because it's triggering something that happened as a child, then, maybe we should.
I'll laugh. I'll laugh at him. Yeah, let's do it. Let's all laugh at him.
I'm excited. It's been 38 years since I've seen this. So, all right, here we go.
All right.
It looked like he did have a patch there, Nick. That wasn't.
That's what I remember from the box cover. Yes.
79.
So this was already dated by the time I watched it, I would guess.
Once upon a time, there was a brown and white pony who lived in the hills high above a beautiful green valley. The pony wore a black patch over one eye, so he was called Patch the Pony.
Why did he get the patch?
That was my first question.
Patch was a frisky pony. He liked to splash.
Patch had a hole in his neck the size of a fist.
Patch had many animal friends on the farm. Often he would chat with the chickens and geese.
3, 2.
And other animals who lived there. There was one special time of day Patch liked to visit the farm. This was the time when Mr. Farmer milked the cows. Patch would stand at the door to the barn and call out to Mr. Farmer.
The long walk to get to strangers.
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't Patch the Pony. Hello, my friend. Say, if you'll just wait a few minutes, I'll give you some milk to drink. In a few minutes, Mr. Farmer poured a big bowl of milk.
Do horses drink milk?
How he loved to drink the
Seemed like they
rich,
would.
fresh
I mean,
milk.
baby
This
horses
was a
do.
special treat that Patch enjoyed whenever he visited the farm. When Patch had finished his milk and said goodbye to his friends, he would trot off into the hills again.
Oh, he's a wanderer.
In spite of his
Patch was the villain in a soap
Patch the
opera.
Pony was often sad, lonely.
The eye patch.
He didn't know exactly why. Sometimes he thought he was sad because he was wasting too much time. He really wanted to do something useful.
Patch felt the general on. Huh?
Patch thought
He was wondering what he was doing with his life.
Yeah. He felt the general ennui that could never be quite resolved.
Children who had once visited the farm down in the valley. Suddenly,
His
This
penis
wave of
began to grow.
depression.
Patch knew why he was sad. I am sad because there are no children around here. I like boys and girls very much. That's why I'm sad.
Maybe Patch is the stranger.
He is the stranger.
Patch felt very tired. He leaned against a tree to think about his problems.
Still thinking. Still thinking.
Then you'd have to, then it'd go beep.
In a few minutes, Patch heard voices. The voices grew louder.
A news anchor appeared before him.
They were children's voices.
He's losing it.
Yes, Ted, we want you to be our pony.
Patch couldn't understand a word she was saying.
Take care of us today.
Did that farmer lace his
Patch
milk?
was surrounded with happy children who wanted him to help them. He was very, very happy himself. But suddenly, the children disappeared. Patch was startled. He looked around and blinked. And Patch sighed a deep
Maybe
sigh.
he's standing on a children's cemetery.
Oh dear,
Maybe that's
that
what
was
this
only
is.
a dream.
Yeah.
How I wish I could really be with boys and girls and do something for them.
So this is the backstory
A
before
few
he even
days
starts
later-
helping them.
Patch heard the sound of a speeding, streamlined train. Train gave him an idea. Those train tracks might lead me to a city. If I follow the tracks and find a school, I can be with boys and girls. Patch made up his mind. He would follow the train tracks. Quickly, he put on his knapsack. It was packed with his toothbrush, soap, and a few apples to eat.
Looks like a coach purse. Doesn't look like a knapsack.
How did he lock that? There's no way he could lock that using
Then he
hose.
set out, trotting along beside the tracks.
It's a great point.
That's my only question in this whole thing.
Long time. He finally came to a city. A city. I know.
He was looking for the body of Ray Brower, so he followed the train tracks.
Into the city. Soon he found just what he was looking for. A school. He heard voices coming from the playground.
More ghost children.
Patch hurried to the playground and stood behind some bushes. He saw many boys and girls
Like
having
a
fun on the
creep.
slings and slides. They were happy, friendly children. Maybe my dream will come true. Here at last I can be around children. And someday I may find a way to be useful to them.
Watching children play made him even more
Patch
depressed.
watched the children from behind the bushes. Soon he knew each
Oh.
child by name.
Did they explain why
He
he
especially liked to watch a little redheaded boy named Joey.
meet some children?
No,
Joey has such a happy smile. It makes me feel good just to watch him.
Joey has a happy smile.
As Patch was waiting for the children
It's
to come
you.
out of school, he noticed a car parked near the school.
Patch is lurking in
Never seen
bushes,
him before.
waiting for children to get done with school.
There was a man inside.
Oh,
Patch became suspicious.
This is what I
have an
remember.
eye patch.
Now, who is that man? I believe he is a stranger. I'd better keep my eye on that fellow. A stranger can hurt boys and girls. This stranger might ask one of my school friends to get into his car. I wonder whether the boys and girls in school know my safety rule. Nay, nay. From strangers, stay away.
There it is. I wasn't just remember like
Take a drink.
I can't believe I remembered that.
The boys and girls came out of the building to start on their way home. Patch did not take his eye off the stranger's car. His ears began to twitch.
Patch's depression enveloped him like a thick fog.
In a few minutes, Patch heard the stranger calling to one of the children. He was calling to little red-headed Joey. Little boy, come here, little boy. Look, I have a bar of candy for you. Joey
Would you like to see the set of Mad Men?
Because boys and girls just should not take gifts from strangers. Well, Joey's
I like the
such a
smell of
little
locker
boy,
rooms,
so
Joey.
He doesn't know any better. Then Patch heard the stranger speak to Joey. Come on, climb in. I'll give you a ride in my new automobile. When Patch saw that Joey was about to get into the car, he knew he must do something and do it fast.
But he was too depressed.
Suddenly, Patch sprang from behind the bushes and rushed toward the car. He called out to Joey, "Nay, nay, from strangers stay away."
The stranger said, "What the fuck is going
Before
on
Joey knew what
here?"
was happening, Patch lowered his head and gently pushed him away from the stranger's car.
Fine, you don't want my gum? I'll keep my gum.
Patch wasn't gentle with a stranger. He was very angry. He never liked to see a stranger try to trick a boy or girl. He shouted, "I'll show you, Mr. Stranger."
He shot a booger
He
out at
turned
him.
around and kicked the car door floor.
I don't mind the artwork. Like I would want one of these slides blown up and framed. I think that'd be kind of cool.
He knew he was wrong.
I want to see this same artwork, but with the
As he
news
drove off, one alert boy wrote down the license
and
number.
Patch behind her.
He knew Officer Hopkins, the policeman, would want the license number. Soon the principal and some of the teachers came running out of the school
That
building.
looks like the stranger.
They had heard the noise and shouting, and they wanted to know what was happening. After the children explained, everyone gathered around Patch. The principal and teachers were very pleased with the brave little pony and what he had done.
At the feral horse.
Children were delighted too. They all wanted to pet their new friend. One little girl spoke up.
I bet your name is Patch the Pony.
"You're a smart little girl. You're right. My name is Patch the Pony."
She was clairvoyant.
The principal quickly telephoned Officer Hopkins from
She
the school.
had The Shining.
He told the officer the whole story and gave him the license number of the stranger's car. Officer Hopkins said the police had been looking for the stranger for some time. Officer Hopkins lost no time.
He didn't have a license to peddle gum.
He drove to the school as fast as he could.
It actually looks like my neighborhood.
Officer Hopkins called the principal, the teachers, and the children together. He told the children they must be very careful about strangers, or the children might get hurt. Then Officer Hopkins went over to Patch. I want this wonderful pony to help the police department protect the children in this neighborhood. Then he put a badge on Patch. Now you are my official.
The size of a fist.
When Officer Hopkins took the pony's
And
leg
Patch's hole in his neck.
Patch, all the children laughed and cheered.
That's why he was called Patch.
Then Joey
Shook too vigorously and broke his hoof.
Big hug.
And now Patch the pony is the glue you find in your...
You really helped me.
The next day, 2 policemen found the stranger. They took him to the police station.
Patch is no stranger to depression.
The following week, a special meeting was held in honor of Patch. All the parents, teachers, and children were there.
It was a logistical nightmare.
Patch could hardly hear what the principal was saying. He was thinking how happy he was because his dream had come true. He had been useful and had helped the children. Finally, he did hear the principal say,
Just then, Patch took a huge shit on the stage.
So he wanted everyone to meet Patch the pony. And Patch,
Horses can't
we
control
hope you
when
will
they go
stay
like
nearby
humans.
and always help protect the children.
the next thing Patch knew, the principal held up a beautiful, shiny black saddle and said,
Patch, this saddle is a gift to you from all the parents and all the teachers. We want to show you how grateful we are.
Don't ask why I have a saddle sitting around, ready to hand out to somebody.
But despite all this, because of a chemical imbalance in Patch's brain, he was still depressed. Depression is real, kids!
Let's all repeat my
I
statement.
can't wait for Xanax to be invented.
Nay, nay, from strangers, stay away.
Now, my recollection is there were supplemental materials, like a poster that we got,
Come on, join us.
or a
Play
worksheet
my safety rule.
that they mimeographed for us.
Nay, nay, from strangers, stay away. Once more, louder.
Okay, that's too loud now. Oh my
Man.
God. That
Here-
was fantastic.
Here's my theory. I have a theory about this. I think this was written by one person and they didn't get any input from anybody else. There were no notes. They just went with what this one person came up with and they're like, let's do it. Let's not change a thing. Because there's a lot of flaws in that, if you ask me, in Patch the Pony.
Have you found that educational films and film strips maybe are like that, kind of like one man or one woman operations?
There's some examples of that. Sid Davis was kind of a one-man show in that he came up with the ideas of the scripts and then hired people to shoot it. But the interesting thing is with this is the difference between video, which you collect, and film, which I collect. It's a lot easier to make video. So you get those kind of people who are like, I'm going to make a video about this and I'm going to sell it and rent it out and all this. Whereas with film, it's like somebody has to like shoot the film, then they have to edit the film, then they have to, duplicate the film. Whereas all you need is a camcorder and some VCRs to dub and
Yeah.
you can knock this thing out. So but I do have examples of these kind of single-minded, somebody feels very strongly about something and then they just go with it and it's a mess. One of the most notorious films in my collection is called Dead is Dead. And it's by this African-American comedian, Godfrey Cambridge, who was in Watermelon Man and a bunch of other films. And it's an anti-drug film that he felt strongly, like, because he had friends that were ODing, so he made this film. And the film shows people ODing, and it shows all these dead bodies. of people who.
Oh my God!
And was it for teenagers? Was it intended for teenagers or for?
Well, so this is the deal: it was shown to like third graders.
What?
Yeah, it's so insane.
I want to see it.
All right, I'll set you up. But
It's nature.
but it is this singular vision of a person who's like, you know what, this is my vision of how I want to educate about whatever the subject is. The same with highway safety films. Highway safety films, those really gory Ohio driver's ed films from the 60s to the 70s. It was one person for a long time who did those films. It was a guy who basically, he started off by doing slideshows. He had a police radio, and he would show up at car accidents, and he would take photos, and then he would put together this slideshow of just mayhem and death.
I've heard of those, and so he was the mastermind behind all of those, right?
Yeah, I think he was a lawyer or an accountant or something. And then he started bringing a motion picture camera and editing it with this narration. And then basically highway patrols around the United States loved him because I've always felt it's because they get to see this. They have to deal with this on a daily basis, this mayhem and this destruction and this gore. And they wanted to punish people and show them, like, look, this is what your irresponsible driving is doing. But those are notorious. I mean, I hear stories, people saw those and would pass out.
It's like snuff, right? I mean, they don't actually.
It is. I mean, for many people, that's the first time they saw a dead body.
I also feel like there's those videos like you showed us Roe Revis, which seemed very homemade. It's very singular about water parasites, with a frog puppet and seemed kind of
that was paid with a federal grant. And
wow,
that was a lot of people were involved in that production. Surprisingly,
Nick,
how do we get a federal grant?
Nick, I was trying to think of videos that we have with like one mastermind behind it. And Blueberry the Clown, I feel like Blueberry the Clown. It's a Don't Talk to Strangers video, and it's hosted by this clown named Blueberry. And Nick, he's the guy who plays Blueberries in every single scene. I think he probably shot it himself. He probably edited himself because it's very homemade and it's very poorly done. So,
what about the guy who's doing either martial arts or stunts in a park? That was one.
Oh, yes. What's his name? I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he made an exercise video. Paulo was his name. Paulo. Yeah. I can't remember his last name, but Paulo. Yes.
Yeah, we found a lot of those. Because the barrier to entry was less, people could just make a homemade video and get it distributed very easily. So I think that is the difference.
Well, especially exercise videos.
Takes much work.
Yeah.
So, that's a pretty good Stranger Danger thing. And when I first watched it, I thought, wow, BBC. So this is British? And it's like, no, BBC Incorporated, which is not British.
Okay.
So got it. Some of the United States decided that they were going to call themselves BBC. And yes. But I cut out. There's all these questions. I always feel like when I
oh, were there?
Yeah, I cut all those out because this was a long. Also, I sped it up a little bit, so because the narration was very slow and plotting, so I kind of compressed it a little bit.
That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love it. Yes, nice work.
I'm very curious to find out what
turn now?
surprise you have in store for Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. So Joe, so I put this forth. Nick, you had a very specific title that you remembered, and it's amazing you remember it from kindergarten. So I think that it was probably a pretty effective campaign that you remember it. And Joe, you're like most people in that you're like, there's this film and it has this theme in it.
We get that email all the time too. It's just like, I'm looking for this home movie that my grandma shot in 1984. This was Pie in the Sky, but I thought just maybe, because it was an image that I remember. It was fourth grade. We were, they wheeled in the 16 millimeter. They had somebody string it up. And, this is like mid 80s or so. And I think it was a video or a film about pollution or about rainforest destruction or something like it was about the environment. And there's this one scene and maybe maybe I'm just misremembering it, but this is how I picture a steamroller or maybe it was a dump truck, running over a baby bird. And then later cutting back and seeing the baby bird smushed. And I remember being so angry, thinking, why doesn't the cameraman stop and wave and tell them to stop? You're going to run over a baby bird. Why did the cameraman just let that happen? And so that's the memory. That's what I sent over to you. And you had no idea.
I had no idea. Now, I haven't seen every film I have, so I'm still holding out hope that one day I'll be watching a film about the environment and we'll see that notorious steamroller scene or some variation on
You're
it.
hoping to see that baby bird get run over by a steamroller.
Well,
Is that
yeah.
what you just said?
Sick.
I've seen a lot of
You're
things,
sick.
but I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Sick.
But the thing is, like, that type of imagery just, oh my gosh, it just is shown. And
Well, I feel like they treated us more like adults back then. I mean, clearly, like the film that you were just saying, showing third graders, people who are overdosing, and like they were just like, no, these kids need to see it. Now it's not the case anymore.
no, that's not. Honestly, I don't think it was appropriate.
I bet you
No,
could,
like Bambi. I
because
mean, yeah.
For we had a friend who worked in pornography. Basically, he would take old like stag reels and make them into compilations and stuff. And he said they would get dozens of emails every day. He would share them with us from people saying, and that's why I say this happens at formative times where it sticks in your brain. So it's all dudes writing in, and they're always like, okay, so the first porno I saw was there's this woman, she was wearing a Keep On Trucking blue t-shirt, was out in the woods, and I remember there was a dumpster behind her to the left. And, and they're like, I don't know. I mean, how are you supposed to find that? But I suppose you're successful in a lot of those non-pornographic requests, Skip.
Yeah, well, so this has happened a couple of times. And in fact, I was doing like radio call-in shows. And I did one in Columbus, Ohio, did one in Dallas. And most times people called in and said, yeah, there's this film that I saw in school. I was in the 4th grade, and it features this kid getting off the school bus, and he falls face first into the snow and dies. And I was like, oh, I know what film that is. It's Cipher in the Snow, which is a Brigham Young University film. And the next question is, why did they show that to me? And the answer is that they weren't supposed to. The premise of the film, which I've shown on the streaming thing, is that there's a little boy, Cliff, who nobody loves him, and he dies because nobody loves him. The parents they're not invested in him. The teachers aren't invested in him. He doesn't have any friends. He's bullied. And just one day he just dies.
Is he a dick? Is that why people don't like him?
No. He's like, a gentle soul. He could be any of us.
What's the moral of the story?
That's the thing. There's no moral for the kid. There's nothing that the kid can do to change his behavior to live. It's all about
the
parents.
other people.
It's about adults and a little bit about kids, but it's mostly parents and adults, teachers, etc. So it's not meant to be shown to kids. So can you imagine being in the 4th grade, you're in school, and you had just gotten punished by your parents, so you feel like they don't love you, and you're also feeling really bad because nobody seems to like you in class, and they bring in this film that shows basically that you can die from it.
What? I mean,
I've seen this.
Charlie Brown is that to a certain extent, right?
Yes.
Like, he's not a bad person, but everybody hates him for some reason.
Yes, he is definitely.
But he doesn't die because of it.
No, he somehow champions on. He finds hope. But Cliff,
Yeah,
The kid watching it must have just been like, am I the Cipher? Am I going to be a Cipher in the snow?
yeah, I mean,
Horrifying.
It's really a horror, and I have nominated for a National Film Registry award because it has traumatized an entire generation of people.
I bet.
Yeah. So there's your example of that. So I'm sorry, I blathered on. But so anyways, you put forth this idea of this film that had the scene in it, and I'm like, I don't have that. But I do have a film that I haven't shown yet that I'm like, I should show this. It's called Dead Bird.
Perfect.
So, it's not dead birds. So there's another film called Dead Birds, which is about these warring tribes in New Guinea, where one tribe actually like kills a bunch of other tribe members, including a kid, and then they show it. It's horrible. I'm not showing that. Dead
Okay.
All right, so here's Dead Bird.
It sounds like nature to me, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So what's the
I have a lot that falls under that nature umbrella. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so here's we'll watch Dead Bird, and you guys can feel free to comment because it is crazy, and I'm actually showing it on film. So we are this is a premiere.
All right.
Yes. And I just clicked on the wrong thing, so give me a second to click on the right thing. Here we go. Right.
Dead Bird is definitely a title we would have picked out
Yeah.
on the shelf.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. So far, so good. I don't know, the bird looks pretty alive to me.
This has the feeling of one of those kind of like art films that were vaguely educational that they would get funding for in the 70s.
Dead bird bass line. And then a steamroller runs over them.
Mm-hmm. That's what you remember.
Right. This is kind of like an art film.
Mm-hmm. I wish Patch the Pony were here.
Patch is lurking behind that shrub over there.
Look, a depressed pony. Why's the kid have a jackknife?
Because he's cool.
Oh. Nature sucks. Let's beat it.
I wish they would have given the tree the finger.
I know where we get some M80s and put them in the tree.
Dead bird bass line. I think it's a wise choice not to have them any dialogue from the kids.
Yeah, I agree. Kids would mess
The
it up.
bird was dead when the children found it. It had not been dead for long. It was still warm, and its eyes were closed. The children felt with their fingers for the quick beat of the bird's heart in its breast, but there was no heart beating.
They attempted
They
CPR.
knew it was dead.
A young Jeffrey Dahmer's eyes lit up.
And even as they held it, it began to get cold, and the limp bird body grew stiff. So they
It's
couldn't bend its
horrifying.
legs, and the head didn't flop.
He
when they
never
woke
felt
up.
so alive.
That was the way animals got.
A
when they
wicked
had been
smile
dead for
came
some
across
time.
his face.
Cold dead and stone still, with no heart beating.
Let's kill a bigger animal, he thought.
The children were very sorry the bird was dead and could never fly again. But they were glad they had found it, because now they could dig a grave in the woods and bury it. They could have a funeral,
Put down the dead bird,
say
please.
to it the way grown-up people did when someone died.
The a mega
Or
They
cell
took
phones
the
is what
overwhelming.
we
dead
do.
bird into the woods.
Yeah. Just have bird funerals. They called an ordained minister. The children drew a pentagram in the grass to try to revive the bird by calling on the great power of Satan.
I feel like 1980s kids would have done something way different.
Yeah.
Speaking as a
And
1980s
that,
kid.
yeah. And that's how the kids learned the art of necromancy. Castle Films. The end.
I mean, there's a lot of
They call
ground
their-
that they could dig into. There's a lot of
Yeah,
ground.
I know.
That
They're really looking for. They called themselves the Losers Club, and
they
that's
dug
when
a hole in the
Pennywise
ground.
showed up.
They found a place called Pet Cemetery, and cemetery was spelled wrong.
One bird was harmed in the filming of Dead Bird.
I wonder if their props person did have to go out with a BB gun. They decided to make a soup.
They put warm, sweet ferns in the bottom of the grave. And they wrapped the bird in vine leaves and put it in the ground.
Bird soup.
3
they
days
call it.
later, it emerged. That bird was Jesus Christ.
Then they put more ferns on top of it and yellow star
Too many
flowers.
ferns, in my opinion.
Whoa, kids, easy on the ferns.
The bird lived as he
Then
died.
they sang a song
Jim
to it.
said, terrified.
Oh bird, you're dead. You'll never fly again way up high with other birds in the sky. We sing to you because you're dead, feather bird. And we buried you in the ground with ferns and flowers because you will never fly again in the sky way up high.
Sure, they should have been in
Little
school,
dead
but
bird.
the bird funeral was more important.
Then they cried because their singing was so beautiful and the ferns
And
smelled
they
so
lost their
sweet,
kite. I don't want to
and
forget
the bird
about
was
that.
dead.
The bird might have been a jerk for all they know. I mean,
Most birds are jerks, let's be honest here.
yeah.
They put earth over the bird.
Too much earth.
How they got a shovel out there, we'll never know.
Then
Why they
put
brought that
great
along,
stones on top of the earth.
just don't ask questions.
What kind of creep kids carry around a shovel in the woods? Now, if he comes back to life, he'll
Let's
never
go,
get
they
out,
wrote.
thought Donnie.
Here lies a bird that is dead.
Here's where the steamroller comes in. And
Yep. Gets them all. But it's actually a bird driving the steamroller.
Oh, interesting. It's funny how you remember things differently.
Yeah, it's a switcheroo. It's the kids that got run over.
You killed my friends, you bastard.
Seems like they could have said something nicer about the bird.
Jimmy's limited vocabulary
In front of the
came to
stone
haunt
was
him
the
while
yellow criminal.
making out a tombstone. Then they urinated on the grave for some reason.
It must be a primal thing.
It's nature.
Uh-huh. Just then a bird appeared. You killed my friend.
And every day they
Sloth.
went and sang to their little dead bird and put fresh flowers on his grave.
Wait, they went back?
Every day.
Until they eventually forgot about it. That's what happens with death.
I mean, what's the lesson here? Wash your hands after handling a dead bird?
They went out in the rain? God, these kids are committed to that bird. They didn't even know.
As they left, they could hear the bird saying, "We all float up here. Come to the deadlights, children." A lot of Stephen King references today.
This is actually
Every day they went.
then these children became the Children of the Corn, I think. I think
Oh,
this
yeah?
is like a prequel. This is a prequel to Children of the Corn.
They were
Until
forever scarred.
They forgot.
One day, the bird's grave had been robbed by a competing band of creepy children who never went to school. Dead bird over here, thought the bird. They're throwing around another dead bird. Catch! I keep hoping they'll pan over and see the old man playing the harmonica.
Yeah. Dead bird bass line.
What was the lesson?
I
They
thought it
once
was
cared
nice.
about a bird, and
I
then
think
they
it's just
forgot
like
about it?
respect the dead. That's the lesson.
They forgot about it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to. Alex Trebek, he narrated it.
Whoa!
That's awesome.
Was it Canadian?
Yeah, it's got to be. That seemed very Canadian to me.
You didn't think that was every time he said again or however he said it, it was like
Yeah, now it's all making sense. Yeah, again.
I had no idea that Alex Trebek narrated that. That is phenomenal. I
That
saw
was-
this film a long time ago, and
That was a mind blower. That was like,
And
yeah.
a fitting tribute. Wow.
And by the way, thank you for picking that one out, Skip, because I feel like I have some closure. I almost feel like the bird that I saw die under the steamroller, I feel like that was his burial right there.
yes,
And so
yes, that's what you needed. That
and I can finally move on with my life now. I'm going to be a different person from here on out.
There's a lunch full of dead birds and horse erections, so hope everyone enjoyed.
Yeah, so I was secretly hoping that was the film. You'd say, like, this is the film, this is the film. But no. All right, I'm going to keep looking. One day you're going to get an email and say, dude, is this it?
Yes, I can't wait for that. But I'm so impressed, though, that I brought up a dead bird. You had two options for dead birds.
Yeah, maybe
I don't
more.
know that
You know,
one.
who knows?
Yeah.
I didn't really do a deep dive, but yeah.
Somebody wrote us recently and talked about a video from Toronto that they watched in the early to mid 80s, but or no, I think it was the 90s, but they felt like it might have been from the early 80s, the film or video, and it was a school bus safety video, and they remembered that at one point a kid stuck his arm out the window, and then you saw it come off, and like everybody was horrified. I found a similar video that I thought was it, hosted by like a puppet.
Mhm.
And it showed a bus crash, and it seemed like the right thing. They said that wasn't quite it. So, but maybe it's a film. Maybe it's not a video.
Well, there is. It's like from the late 40s, early 50s that has a kid. He puts like a little like spinning windmill toy. He puts it out the window, and then he pulls back like just a broken stick. But I
That
haven't
could be
seen
it.
one where a kid's arm gets ripped off.
Okay.
I'll
All right.
deny it,
It
but that
sounds
was
like
another-
something that exists. That sounds like something that exists.
Yeah,
doesn't
and that was
it?
another thing that people were telling me about is like, yeah, there's this film I saw where these kids go crazy on the bus. There's like drug overdoses. There's like all this like smoking, all this crazy stuff. Then they distract the bus driver and the bus flips over and ends up in a lake and all the kids die. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And sure enough, I found it. It's called And Then It Happened. And it is, it is everything they described.
Isn't that what the Sweet Hereafter is about too?
Yes,
I thought you were
it is.
describing the Sweet Hereafter.
Yeah,
Another
totally.
Canadian movie.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But
I will say, I think films have better titles than videos in general. And Then It Happened, Dead Bird. I mean, they're just so much more. I think
Patch
they
the
had
Pony.
Patch the Pony.
Yeah, Patch the Pony. The videos just maybe they had more real estate so they could write longer titles, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
Well, and again, it's the cover that sells it. It's the cover
Yes.
that sells it for you
they
guys.
don't have to work hard on the title. You're right. That is it.
They put most of the money, from what we've seen, they put most of the budget into the cover for the, not into the production, into the cover. So, yeah.
So I've been on your show a couple times. I mean, almost everybody that's probably watching this knows who you are, but just in case, can you talk about like what you guys have been doing? Normally you tour all the time, but because of COVID, you can't. So what is it that you guys are doing?
Yeah, we usually do like 100 to 120 shows a year, but yeah, now we're holed up in our apartments and in the office, and yeah, we do a Tuesday night show called VCR Party, and like I said, I'm surrounded by 11,000 VHS tapes, and the goal of VCR Party is to watch all 11,000 of them, but it's an impossible task. Like, we're going to be here forever. And so we could have a daily show at this point, but it's Tuesday nights. We also do a show on Saturday mornings called Saturday Morning Cartoons, which, Skip, you're going to be on in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Where we watch crummy cartoons from the golden age of Saturday mornings.
And people can support you by going to either Found Footage Festival on Facebook or YouTube or on your website, and they can become a Patreon member. Correct? You can help support you guys, and you can see special stuff.
I feel like most people, I don't know, maybe they don't know. My parents didn't know about Patreon, but it's basically just a thing that deducts $5 or $10 a month, whatever you want it to be at, so you don't have to think about it. And you're contributing to the stuff we do. Like, if you like what we're doing, it helps us keep the lights on. But we also have like certain things that we only give to people who support us that way. Like, we do a weekly show called EP Mode, which was the long play mode on a VHS tape where you get 6 hours on a tape. So it's the longer things where we do more like kind of what you do, Skipper. We'll just watch an entire video. We'll just watch the hour video, and sometimes for the first time, or sometimes it's just a great video that we've never shown the whole thing of.
Like our last one, we watched this one, The Modern Goat. We watched the entire video, The Modern Goat. And it's very homemade, but yeah, it's stuff like that.
So you're really selling people at that $10 level there. With
It's like, I gotta sign up.
I should say that
if you want a little taste of The Modern Goat, you can get that for free. But if you want to see the whole thing of that goat husbandry video,
once they're hooked on The Modern Goat, that's when we,
And I was on one of those Patreon shows with talking about the club with you, which was a local Durham public access show, which is looks like he's forming a religion around a stick that he found near a lake, which is phenomenal.
Well, I mean, that was your find. I mean, that was, yes. And the club. That's a classic. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you spreading the gospel. And that's something that somebody could, if they are on Patreon, they can see it, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, go to patreon.com and you have access to, I think, about 70 hours of back episodes of EP Mode and our other stuff. So yeah, you get everything, and then new stuff each week from us that's only at that.
And Skip, I do want to track down the guy in the club with you at some point. Like, once the vaccine's out and everybody's safe, then I want to go knocking on his door, because, just for people who haven't seen it, it's this guy with a stick that he calls the club that he absolutely worships. And there's 30 hours of this footage, and he reveres this stick.
Yes,
and he's convinced it's a prehistoric weapon of some sort, and
but it's
he's
also
been divined to find it.
Yeah, exactly. It comes from God.
Yeah, and so anyway, at one point he puts his address up there, and it's not far from you. So I want to drive down there. We'll grab the camera and we'll interview this guy and see. If he's still...
And the fact that you're there with me, because I've always been hesitant to call or go because
I hit you with the club.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
No, like shoot a laser out with the club. Yeah.
And you guys also, you mentioned earlier the possibility of having an Erie Rocks shirt. You guys have shirts that are based on shirts that you see in these videos, correct?
Yeah. Nice plugging, Skip. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, that's what we're all about here, the merch.
No, I don't know if I have any nearby, but here, I have one. Miss Junior America. We have this, we make shirts that we find in the videos. And so this one came from a, what was it, Nick? It was like a...
It was called Miss Junior America, Wisconsin Preteen 1988. That was the title. Right. It doesn't roll off the tongue the way your videos do. But it was a child's pageant from 1988, but just for Wisconsin girls between the ages of like 10 and 12 or something.
And that was the shirt that they were all wearing. And so we're like, oh, let's make these shirts. So we're terrible businessmen, is what I'm saying.
Well, no, I think it's great because you're taking these weird things and you're creating physical. I mean, these are shirts that I would wear where somebody would go like, what is that? What does that shirt mean?
They're conversation starter shirts.
Yeah, conversation starter. Exactly.
Like, this could be you. You could look like number 36 here from 1988. But that's an exact replica of the shirt. So, I mean, like, this is how dumb our careers are.
I love it. No, it's so good.
Yeah.
Really phenomenal.
I would love to make replicas of the club. I mean, it can't be.
That piece of
start hiking, see if you can find one.
It's up there somewhere.
Well, thanks for having us.
Really,
this is a fun way to spend a lunch hour.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So your next show is going to be on Saturday, correct?
Saturday. Yep. Saturday mornings. Oh, not this Saturday. It'll be the following Saturday after that. Okay. We took 2 weeks off this month.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
I have watched it.
We got a VCR party, so yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it on Saturdays and it's really just like being there on Saturday where I'm sipping coffee and it's like Saturday morning and
Yeah. Nick also does an Alf show on Wednesday nights that I'm not a part of because it's just too much Alf for me. Like, I'm
rewatching the entire series, 144
I watched 2 episodes of it and I never watched Alf ever.
I didn't either.
No, because it was
fun. A lot of people. Yeah, it's available to watch for free. So a lot of people are doing a rewatch with us and discovering it for the first time. So
was it a popular show back then, Nick? Like, was it
top five show every week? Yep.
What night of the week was it on?
Monday nights. Oh. Yep. And actually, in the movie Lord of the Flies, the newer version, the color version, they actually are like, what day is it? And like, Monday. And they're like, oh, Alf's probably on. They say that in the movie. That's how ubiquitous the show was. So we dig deep. We dig real deep. We played that clip. We've got Alf merchandise. And
some might say you dig a little too deep. I don't know.
Oh, exactly. That's the point. So we're on episode 14, which airs tonight. And then we only have, I think, 190 episodes to go. 130 to go. And it for the long haul.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I'm glad somebody's doing it.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to be a part of it, but I'm glad you're doing it, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for joining me. And avgeeks lunchtime streaming show will be back tomorrow with at 1 o'clock. Watching some more 16 millimeter, and there probably won't be horse erections in it. So I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. Like we raised the bar that there's no way I'm going to ever compete with again. So
well, we have like 3 other horse erection videos over here. If maybe we could do horse erection of the week kind of a thing. Like next week we come on with a new horse erection.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, you guys have a good rest of your day,
Thanks,
and we will see everybody else soon. Thanks for
joining
in.
Hi, everybody.
So long.
Nay, nay. From strangers, stay away.